Welcome back to the second episode of the Pop Collectors Alliance, the only podcast devoted to returning collecting back to the pop collector. I'm your host, Rick, joined again by my co-host, Piper.
Hey.
And we are in the midst of the middle of Black Friday craziness and getting mystery boxes everywhere.
Wait, I thought only one place got them.
Also, you get the little mystery minis. They're buy two, get one free at ThinkGeek right now. So,
well, I don't have ThinkGeek up here, so I miss out on that.
I'm sorry. You're not as lucky as we are up here in like Fort Worth. Yeah, we are Funko privileged up here. 3 ThinkGeeks and like 200 GameStops. I'll eventually be able to find my Joker chase. But anyways, the title of this episode is What in the Funko is Going On Here. Just 3 quick things. First off, Balrog re-released on Barnes & Noble's website earlier last week. What in the Funko is going on with their website?
It is always broken. That's what's going on with it.
I mean, I think Gollum's running their bandwidth.
He's their IT supervisor.
Yeah. Because I went through the cart twice and tried to check out, and it just errors out. So I called their help center, and then some lady walked me through the entire purchasing process as if I were the one going online and buying the pop myself. And I said, it's just going to time out. She goes, no, sir, your order went through. You'll get a confirmation. That was last week. I still don't have a confirmation. So I'm not getting Balrog because I believe, Piper, you got yours already, right?
Yeah, I did. I was able to get mine, which that's weird because I was able to finally get mine to go through. It took about 3 tries. I got to the very end and it would time out. It would give me that same old magical 500 error that they're known for. But yeah, I finally got it and I got mine shipped to me, and I haven't opened the box yet because I'm waiting. I have a huge stack of pops that I'm going to do some videos for. But yeah, they're here, and the box looked like it's in good condition. It wasn't sat upon or used as a coaster.
Like the Walmart boxes that you get when you order them to ship to store for pickup.
That's why Walmart's pops are so cheaper, because they guarantee you that they will be kicked before you get them.
They're playing soccer in the warehouse with them.
They've been pre-booted.
Also, Beerus went live.
Oh yeah.
And if you didn't know, Beerus was supposed to release, I believe, this morning, right? Like early Thursday morning, early Friday morning. And
it was supposed to be Friday morning, that Funimation said.
Yeah, and then they out of the blue go, "Oh, we can't wait. We're going to release everything on Monday or Tuesday." Now, we tried to capture this on the website and put it out there because they were still allowing orders to get through. They went through a period of like 4 hours. The website was just crashing constantly, doing the same thing that Barnes & Noble does. But then they finally shut everything down. The whole website was down for about 30 minutes to an hour. Then they brought everything back up, and I was able to go in, and I got 2, one for myself and one for the Cost Plus shipping event we're going to do in the near future, our first live event. I haven't really picked a date yet, but we're going to get it out before Christmas, and I'm going to do that with one of the Beeruses I was able to get. But Funimation is slacking on their pop game heavily.
Which you can't really hold that against them, because they're not a pop retailer, and they're not even a retailer in general. They have a store, but they're
I agree with you.
Their thing.
I agree with you there. I mean, they have an excuse more so than Barnes & Noble and GameStop, but also Funimation, they've done this before, right? So they had the Super Saiyan God Goku, which is Goku with red hair. Then they had the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta with a blue hair, for all of you guys who are not familiar with Dragon Ball Z. And then now they released Beerus, which is not the Comic-Con metallic one, but the regular one. That was previously only released overseas, and it went up to about $150 on Pop Price Guide. That has since fallen through the roof because a whole bunch of people bought them up. They limited one per customer, but you were able to go in and with your same information like I did and get
multiple checkouts.
Yeah, multiple checkouts. But the good news is I'm not flipping either of these. This is the no flip zone, of course. And lucky for you guys, we are also going to be able to add one of these to our Cost Plus shipping event. We have a lot of pops lined up for that first Cost Plus shipping event. It's going to bring everything in with a bang, sort of get you guys used to what we're going to be doing in the future and more events like that. But the last thing I want to touch on was GameStop. GameStop is a complete failure when it comes to checkouts. They kind of saved the day with this last New York City Comic-Con release, but this time for Black Friday, now I'm not going to blame this on Pop because there wasn't a lot of Pop that was on sale other than the mystery boxes, but GameStop in and of itself, again, ate itself because of all the deals they're doing for Black Friday. But I'll let GameStop slide because it wasn't just Funko Pops that they were selling, it was all of the video games as well.
I have some forgiveness in my heart for them.
But like I said, the title of this episode is What in the Funko is Going On Here. And before we let you know about what in the Funko is going on here, we'll tell you what in the Funko is going on in Astro Panda Productions. So we have a couple of new podcasts that joined the team in the past weeks. If you love people from Ireland and you love comedy, we have an Irish comedy podcast called The Pod Squad. And they recently joined the Astro Panda Network. It's a comedic look on a various number of things. Strange stories, top 5. They do funny movie pitches. The theme is one pitches the idea to the other and he decides whether or not to greenlight it. So I encourage you all to subscribe on iTunes today. You just search Pod Squad. Squad is spelled SKWOD. And then also they should be added to our website fairly soon. We're going to get them up on there, and I'll also put a link in the show notes. And then also we have another podcast that recently joined the Astro Panda podcast team is the Very Dark, Very Quick podcast. I'll just read you a good description of what they go. It's going to sound like I'm reading because I am reading. Mike, Aaron, and their strange friends discuss a new topic each week, packed full of talk. I can't even read. Packed full of talk, interviews, and skits about the dirty underbelly of society. I'm not going to cut that out. It's my tongue. I eat onions and I'm actually sort of allergic to onions and make my tongue swell. So my tongue is like a ginormous tongue in my mouth. So this whole podcast, I'm like fumbling over my tongue. But also check them out on iTunes. I'll put a link on the website. You can also check them out at blogtalkradio.com/astropanda. They have about 4 episodes out to date. You should check them out.
They're like slamming episodes out. They come out really quick.
So what in the Funko is going on here? So as we all know, Funko IPO'd recently, right? They announced their IPO with a target price of $14 to $16. That's step 1. Step 2, before it IPOs on Thursday, Wednesday night, they target $12. And as the market opens on day 1, then you see the stock lose 40% and they close around $7. I think they're on the upward tick right now, so they're going in the right direction. But you would think there's more to the story, and maybe there is here. So they launched an investigation, and this is an independent law firm.
I cannot pronounce that law firm's name.
McInerney. That's probably McInerney. Yeah, It doesn't matter. They launched an investigation into Funko and a possible violations of federal security law. I'm going to put a link on this. It was a Bloomberg article that they put out there by Bloomberg Gladfly. And what they're accusing them of doing is saying that it concluded that just $7 million or 10% of what Funko said that was an increase in their adjusted earnings. And this is a lengthy acronym, EBITDA. But what that means is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That's basically saying that Funko said 69 million. They had an increase before their EBITDA. And then what the article is accusing them of is just 7 million of it is from actual earnings growth. 90% of it came from higher cost that they wrote off of it. So basically what they did is they took a couple things and they said, oh, no, that's intellectual property. We're going to write that off. Oh, no, we procured acquisitioned some companies. We're going to write that off before we claim our earnings. So they just launched an investigation in that. And what does that mean, really? It doesn't mean anything unless they can prove that there's anything wrong there. Then it goes to the SEC, and then there may or may not be penalties. But just poor timing if that's true, because they had a tremendous increase in their earnings. And hopefully, through this investigation, they find out there was nothing there. But what did they call it, Piper? They said something. What kind of accounting? They
said it's the Funko was using funhouse accounting.
Yeah, funhouse accounting. So we'll see.
So lots of smoke and mirrors saying, "Oh, look at all this money we made," but we're not going to tell you about all this other stuff. I think what the actual statement was that the other items that were not included were things that you just didn't need to pay attention to. Just pretend they're not there.
Yeah, we're writing that off before this. We're going to claim that as earnings. And I can see where you could make a case for an acquisition, right? So if I bought I think they bought Playmobil. If I acquire this business, it's now all of their earnings are part of my earnings. So that 25 million or whatever they put into that company, I don't know how much they bought them for, but that's now my income essentially, right? Because I own their intellectual property. I own their warehouse storage, all their stock, everything they have. So there is some value there. And I give them the benefit of the doubt on that, to really, claim that as earnings. Some of the other items, I don't know if it's true or if it's not, but it's just another line of the bad series of luck that Funko's had since they've IPO'd. But I just wanted to cover it briefly this episode. It can kind of get boring and just stock market numbers, but I encourage everybody to go out there and buy Funko stock because it's a pretty good deal right now. And if they continue the way that they're going with at least the pop line, and making these movie moments and figuring out a way to expand it, just like at their headquarters where you can make your own pop, little unique things to do. I think they're going to be fine. And it's a good time to get in.
It looks like just based on the trend, they had their little initial dip and now it's rising. Like if you look at the trend right now,
the ticker,
like, yeah, they're like based on like I know they haven't been out for 3 months, but if you look at on like a 3-month scale, like just so you can see that extended timeline, you can see that they had a little bump, but they're going back up. They're already, I think they closed at like almost $8.50 and it was heading up. So we won't know really till Monday and see if that's going to continue. But I think it's definitely a smart investment, especially if you're a collector or you're a fan of this, then it's only going to help you in the long run and help all of us.
And your shares represent a vote in the company. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, when they're electing members of the board, your shares hold some sort of value. Now, some people argue otherwise, but at the end of the day, they do hold some kind of value. And it's neat to own a piece of a company that you really support and really love. So I encourage everyone to go out there. If you have Share Builder or whatever, if you're a Funko fan and you have, I mean, even if it's just 3 shares, it's $21 plus like $8 fee for that trade. Go and do it because it's something cool to say. And go to the headquarters and say, hey, where's my 3% my 3 shares piece of the pie? So
you're 0.00001% of the company.
Yeah, it's a piece, right? Whatever that piece is, maybe it's like 1/10 of a floor tile or something. But
right, yeah, you're like that corner of that office is mine.
The handle on the bathroom I own. Nobody touches handle. And then you lick it. Oh, that's great.
Then you die because you just lick the bathroom handle.
Yeah, no, right?
Well, I mean, and if anybody's looking to get into this, there's an app I recently started using. This is not my direct endorsement. It's just hey, this exists. There's a company called Robinhood. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
Okay, so that's who I recently started using, and they have a pretty cool deal right now where you get a free stock of like a random company if you sign up with them. Like you don't even have to put any money in. You can just be like, I want one, and they give you a free stock. I think I got a Groupon stock today because I finally activated my account. So and that for someone like me, I know nothing about trading stocks or anything like that. That is like the best way to go. Like honestly, hands down. You just like sign up and you're like, I want a stock, and then that's it. You don't have to worry about all this other stuff because it's really intimidating at first.
Something like that, ease of access, smooth transaction, and you're part owner of Funko, whatever your part is.
Do it. So we can keep making this podcast.
Yes, exactly. Again, everybody, before we get to the Finder series for this week, our specialty Finder series, I want to remind everybody to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Pop Alliance Pod. Follow us or like our Facebook page and follow it on facebook.com/Pop Collectors Alliance. And then visit our website at popcollectorsalliance.com. We're going to get some content on here, especially with the Finder series, which we're about to go over. There's going to be a lot of information on there, added information that you're not going to get by listening to the podcast. We put some expert tips in there, and all you got to do is go over to the website, look at the show notes, and you'll get those expert tips. So popcollectorsalliance.com. And always subscribe on iTunes, leave us a rating or a review. Please leave 5 stars. That's what we really want to know. But if you have any kind of feedback that will be helpful to us, we appreciate it. And always give us a shout on Facebook. We're about to start pumping out some Facebook. We already did one Facebook Live video today, so there you go.
It was a very disappointing live stream.
You got to chase though. You got to chase.
Yeah, I got one. I would some the Black Friday boxes, and I ended up getting a chase out of it. But I was hoping for at least one more.
Hey,
$124.
You told them what you got before they even watched the video.
Well, don't watch it. I didn't say that. I got other things too.
Yeah. There's other things in there.
Can you bleep that out? Can we do that in post? You just bleep that out?
Yeah, I'll just bleep it out.
All right, good. So you guys won't know what I got. You got to go watch it.
I gotta chase.
No, don't even. You got to. It has to be a hard bleep.
Oh, okay.
Like it's 90s TV.
Okay.
Like you're watching Boys in the Hood on USA Network.
Like before they started just like saying what in the fiesta pasta is going on here,
dude. Those are the best. I love that
when they like dub it in there,
and it's like a totally like you can obviously tell it's a completely different like person's voice. Like it's like a very large man, and then all of a sudden it's like a lady's voice.
Yeah, different dialect.
They're like, yeah. It's like they couldn't find anybody, but Beth, the administrative assistant, wasn't doing anything that day, so she was going to do the voiceovers.
Get in the studio, Beth. Now, okay. But yeah, follow us on all those avenues. Check us out, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. We appreciate it. And now for the moment everyone's been waiting for, we begin our Finder Series Volume 1 here. We start with Target. What the Finder Series is meant to do is actually what we say our podcast mission is. We're devoted to returning collecting back to the pop collector. And the Finder series is truly dedicated to that. It might be 10 or 12 volumes. I don't know how long it's going to be because I don't know which stores to really cover. And as I go on, I'll build and build. But the first volume is Target. Now, what we do in these Finder series is we give you an overall rating of the store, what we think are the pros and cons of each store based on the ease of finding pops, how they treat the pops, their knowledge of Funko in general, and shelf location in the store. So we try to give a rating of 1 to 10 for each store, and we take into account all those aspects when we give our final rating. Then we also cover where to find them in the store. And this is where we get into some of our expert hunting tips that will be available on our website in the show notes. And then also, where can we get deals in the store? Where are the great places to find deals in every store that we cover? And that sort of wraps up what the Finder series is all about. Now, next week, I think I'm going to go and cover Hot Topic because it's one of the easier stores to cover and one of the higher rated stores, in my opinion, of Funko Pop. But this week, we are starting with Target. And again, Target has really been associated with a black cloud with its pop selling reputation. And that's based on some of the employees allegedly taking pops, buying pops for themselves, hiding pops for other customers, hiding pops for other employees. Yeah, there you go. And, the list goes on and on. Now, I can't speak to every Target employee, and I don't want to label people as that because I know a lot of people that work at Target that really aren't in the flipping game, so to speak. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But one thing for certain, when you take all of that black cloud, all of those conspiracies out of the equation, Target, in my opinion, and Piper, I know you're going to agree with me on this one, but is considered a little bit below average on its ability in handling pops.
Garbage. No, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
And some of the cons I want to hit on, definitely boxes are damaged. And a big reason why boxes are damaged at Target is because the way that they ship everything in there and where they have the location of pops in the store. A lot of times they'll just throw the pop. I know they did it with the Grady twins and some of the Crotas. They put them in there with their electronics section, right? That's where it is in the store. So they just lump it all together. And a lot of times you'll see like a TV put on top of a pop box and it'll come out mangled. I know they have no way of changing that at Target store, but as distribution centers, they really aren't familiar with the product, obviously because they're not taking chases out of boxes. Hint, hint, GameStop. But
well, that's completely because the people in the warehouse, they see pop and they think, oh, like packing peanuts. So we're just gonna cover all of the TVs in these pops so that we can crush them on the shipping route.
Or they think pop and they think like Taylor Swift or music, and they're like, "Oh, I hate pop music." They just throw it on the bottom of the truck.
There ain't enough cowboy hats and country in it.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So for that, I take away 2 points because a lot of times I've seen a lot of their exclusives like significantly damaged. A lot of the pieces that they put out there, like I said, I've seen Crota's when they reship their restock. I went to 2 places and the whole top of the box was crushed. And that was all of them, including the chase that was in there. And I didn't even get the chase because it was damaged so badly.
So one of my big things is going to be the fact that it's really, really hard to track Target's inventory. It's inaccurate for really, I don't understand why it's inaccurate as it is, but just recently they changed their policies to where if you use a website called BrickSeek, which is really, really handy for tracking inventory to a lot of large retailers, but it used to be that BrickSeek would be able to query Target's database and pull how much inventory was at any specific store. Well, Target recently, I'm guessing because of the harassment and stuff that they're getting from collectors and probably mainly flippers, hounding people down saying, "Oh, I know you have this many in the store. I need you to find them." And then, employees there would spend, however long in the back looking for something that may or may not be there. So they closed their system, and now BrickSeek can only tell you if that product exists there or not. And if it is a low count, it says, it might be there and may not. So that makes it really difficult if you're hunting for something specifically to find it. And to tag on to that also, a lot of their pops will share their DPCI number, which is Target's official code for each item. So that was which set was it in with the Crotas that they were sharing it with, like the Tomcat or something like that?
Yeah, Topcat. Yeah, they shared the 323011032 is what they came out
scary
under.
That you know that.
Yeah, no. Still, after all this time, 1032 was that they come out under the 15-piece PDQ, which is a display. Actually, Target gave me one, so I can use that for my cost plus shipping event. So I've got one of those little displays. It's a Stranger Things display, but that's what Crota was lumped into, and there was 2 Crotas in there. And then while it's correct, DCPI is 323010420. That didn't come until they got the restock, so it was kind of confusing. And that's what you're mentioning with the inaccuracies that you get, because they may say they have a specific item, or that item may be incorrect in general. But a lot of times, if they say they don't have it, they don't have it.
Well, and sometimes they say they don't have it because they're underneath the counter and they're waiting for their friend to get there.
Yeah, and another con for this is being unfamiliar with the product. Now, this tends to bleed into the first item I mentioned because the items are mainly damaged. But I wanted to go a step further here because this takes it away from the warehouse end into the employee's end, right? Because everybody knows that you come there and an overzealous employee doesn't know what pops are, and they take their box cutter out and they go right across the top. And I don't know how many times I've been in Facebook groups, and especially with the Grady twins, where they just open that box and they just sliced across the top. And I was talking to a guy one time, and I'm like, "Hey, why are you using the box cutter like that? You're going to cut the boxes." Because nobody cares if the boxes are cut. I'm like, this guy does. He's like, "I don't know. It doesn't decrease the value." And I'm like, it doesn't matter if it decreases the value or not, even though it does. But
you don't have a box that value drops like 20%.
I want a perfect box because I like perfect boxes. And a lot of times people, they're just careless with it. I've watched one employee take a box out and pinch the sides of a pop. Now, I know we're being nitpicky here, but again, this is a podcast for pop collectors, so everyone can feel my pain in that. And for that, I gave them another -1 on. So we got -1, -1, and -2.
I'll say, kind of playing off of that, the fact that both management and corporate do not seem interested in helping the collectors community, and there's no repercussions for if there are employees that do want to take advantage of their access to these items before they hit the floor. So if you have a friend that collects and you're working at Target and you grab up all the chases and hide them and give them a call and say, "Hey, why don't you come down here? I got all this stuff in. You can come pick it up." There has been no attempts by anyone at Target to try to curb that. And that is another thing that's incredibly frustrating for me over most of the other retailers, because there are some people that are doing their best to kind of fix this issue. And that's mainly pointed at Hot Topic. They are, in my opinion, the ones that are doing the best at trying to actually make it fair for people who are, who are collectors that are fighting against employees.
Yeah, and they work with collectors too. You can see a lot of their policy changes. Now they can't get it right every time, but they've taken a lot of steps to try to cater to collectors. And I mean, we'll discuss it more next week, but still, they're probably the prime example of somebody that knows what type of product they have, especially for Hot Topic, which is probably around 30% of their revenue in their stores. But and for Target, it's going to be a very small footprint of what their revenue is. But again, if you think about in the grand scheme of things, when Target comes out with these 10-inch Hulk pops that were supposed to come out today that never even showed up in the stores, I hope they did where you're at, but they didn't this time. Again, this is another con that I can add on to the list that's not on my list now, is they never, ever release things when they say they're going to release it. And every time I just want to go in the store and just kick pops around. Because it's like, hey, did you guys get those 10-inch Hulk pops? Nah, man, didn't get them. Probably won't be there until December 13th or something. But their release day was, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Black Friday.
There was a print ad that came out that said that they were going to be there Black Friday.
So unfortunately, the Dallas-Fort Worth area did not receive them. If you did in your area, thank you.
Congratulations.
Purchase one for me and send it to me. Just DM me, get my DMs on Facebook to me. But still, every time they say they're going to put it out on a date, I would say 80% of the time at least they miss that date. So that's our long list of cons. Now, the cons seem to outweigh the pros here, but I do want to touch on a couple of items that I'm happy that Target does. Their exclusives tend to be better than other stores. Even though they don't get a lot of pop, I tend to like their exclusives better than other stores. Sometimes other stores can, like Hot Topic, will come out with an exclusive, but Target seems to hit the nail on the head almost every time. I like their Weapon X. I like the 10-inch Angry Groot. I love the 10-inch Hulk coming out. I liked most of their Stranger Things exclusives, the Grady twins that they came out with. The Crota is my favorite character from Destiny, and they nailed it. And they continue to do a really good job of some things. I don't collect Five Nights at Freddy's, so I don't know if that's the Bonnie that they had was the best character from Five Nights at Freddy's. But from what I get in the tendencies for the value in Target exclusives, they tend to be higher than some of the other stores' exclusives. And I think they do a good job of that. Would you agree, Piper?
Yeah, I do. I think that their exclusives are usually way cooler than most of the other companies. I mean, Hot Topic has some that are nice, and I collect a lot of Overwatch stuff, so obviously, like ThinkGeek has some pretty sweet ones. But overall, I think that for very unique pops, Target is the best place to go. Plus, they hold their value, it seems, better than most of the other exclusives. And I think, again, that's because of the limited quantity that are out there and how difficult it is to get some of them in, really good condition. I will always, if I have a chance to jump on a Target exclusive, I generally will, on top of like anything else.
Yeah, agreed. And that leads me to my other pro here is the location in the store, while small, is easy to find, right? We know it's in the electronics section. Generally, if you go into the electronics section against the back wall, they're starting to grow a collectible section. But in my opinion, like Barnes & Noble and these other stores are turning to, ThinkGeek, GameStop, they're beginning to dedicate a collection section or a collector section in these stores. And I think Target needs to seriously consider that and take it off the back wall and put it in an aisle, right? Even Toys R Us, they're getting these 32-inch Freddy Funkos and they've blinged out their Funko section, their collectible section. It's got a big old Freddy Funko 36-inch in the middle of the section. I wonder if any employees stole that. That would be interesting to find out if they did. But still, they're doing an excellent job with dedicating that space because, one, especially if you put it in the back of the store, you're getting collectors to walk through your store. And when you come up with these exclusives, I know that there's tons of times I've been at Target, get a pop, and I'm like, wow, I need to pick up milk or I need to pick up this or that. So I'm buying other items in the store, and I think they do a really good job of putting a location. I just wish that it would be bigger.
Yeah, I agree. It would not be that difficult for them to take, even if they could consolidate all that with like the collectible card, trading card section. They could build one nice, group of things and they could stick all that stuff together because it does go together. Because generally, people who collect one thing a lot of times will collect other things, and if they don't, they may see other things, and it would be a good way to drive new people to over to a new genre of collecting. I would also think that they would do really well. Target would do really well to maybe have some kind of events in store for new releases, new launches, to kind of draw other people in, since they do have a very large, a large, I guess, range of clientele. In
their
store.
Consumer base is pretty big.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things that they could be doing to help with that.
I think that they're headed in the right direction, and this is why we're giving them the rating that we are. So with Target, there's more cons than pros here, but they have more sought after collectibles. They have better characters and a designated Funko area, quote unquote. And that brings up their score floor a little bit. However, with the black cloud that's hanging over it, are employees doing this? Are they doing that? Their lack of knowledge of a specific product and a small quantity / variety of pops and total disregard and care for the product. I have to give them a score of 5 out of 10. And this is not a slight at Target employees. I'm not trying to put them down. A lot of times I'm unfamiliar with a specific product and I may not handle it well throughout my career when I was working in stores. But again, as Funko collectors, we have to rate it on what we love, and that's Funko. So they're not doing a good job with Pop. 5 out of 10. Now, where to find them in Target? I think some people have a good grip on where to find Pops, but here, we're not here to give you the things that everybody knows. There's going to be some of them in there. We're here to give you some expert tips as well. Now, store layouts may vary. This is a disclaimer. Not every Target store is going to be laid out the same. Our Target stores in the DFW area, that's Dallas-Fort Worth for all you guys across the world and country here, they just went through a remodel. So they've kind of moved everything around, but all the stores are kind of in the same layout. And electronics is generally that across the board. Now, this could be on the back wall of the back of the store, on the side. I've seen the book section sort of catty corner off of electronics and on the side. Either way, it's on a wall. Just know that behind the books and DVD section of your Target. Some Targets will place Pops in the toy sections, generally around things that are alike. So a Five Nights Freddy Pop may be found in the toy section. A Marvel Pop could be in the toy section near Marvel toys, like Spider-Man toys will have a Spider-Man Pop. In some Targets, and this may be the case in your area, where they still have a dedicated section at an end cap in toys. Now, this is generally included with some of those mystery minis or mystery blind boxes that they have, and they would be on top of those. Personally, I don't see a lot of Targets like that, but not every Target in America has been remodeled, so they still might have their floor layout that way and keep them on the end cap.
I think usually those are going to be like the smaller ones, not the super Targets, but like the older small Targets.
Always check on the back row of the toy section near the board games. That's where they're typically located. You might be able to find a couple there. So some of the hunting tips that we want to give you this week is often stores keep highly collectible pieces at the electronics counter, either on top of it or behind it. Skilled collectors and flippers always know when they're coming out, right? Because we have BrickSeek, we're going to show up to the store early. We're going to know where they're going. So I think what some Targets do it, I don't know if yours does, Piper, but there's a couple Targets in our area that will actually hold them up or display them on the electronics counter when they get new or highly sought after things. So if you're entering the store and you're trying to go around the long way and then get to that book section before the electronics desk, maybe circumnavigate that. Go to electronics counter first before you go back to the pop section, because electronics employees could put them at that counter or behind the counter. All you got to look for is a box labeled Funko. All the Funko boxes have the big Funko emblem on the side of them.
You should always use BrickSeek to try to figure out what stores are actually going to have what item in stock. There's nothing worse than you wasting time going somewhere that not even going to have what you need. The other thing is going to be make sure that you have the Target DPCI number ready with you. When you go in, you can ask an employee, hey, do you have this item in stock? It's usually going to be a waste of your time to argue that you saw that BrickSeek had it, because there's nothing that's going to anger an employee more than you trying to argue with them, because they have a device in their hand that can tell you what they do and do not have in stock most of the time. So it's just going to be best if you go in ready with the information And if they say they don't have it, then look around for yourself a little bit, but don't sit there and try to argue with them. The other thing with using BrickSeek is sometimes the inventory doesn't update until overnight. So check it before you go to bed, check it when you wake up. And then sometimes it's worth it to even just, if you're going to be by the target, just go in anyway. There's been a few times when we were hunting for the Grady twins and BrickSeek never updated, but the stores actually had them in stock. So, if you don't feel like, if you feel like you're going to be right there and, why not? Do I just pop in? Because it's on the way to my work. So I just run in there, check out, see if they have it. If not, oh well. But, don't just go running around everywhere all over town without having done a little bit of research.
One other thing I wanted to add about BrickSeek is that there's a sort of a premium account that you can sign up with BrickSeek, and they'll send you emails when stocks update in the stores that you select. So that could be another tip too. If I just check it, because a lot of times when they scan the truck in, that's when it'll update. But I just went to a store recently and just showed up, and they had put Crota's out on the shelf and their inventory said 0, and their Grady twins inventory said 0 as well. And I just waited to see if they would come off the truck for about 15 minutes, and they did. So even that's not 100% sure. The biggest thing is take that chance. Always, always, always take that chance. There's some pops that won't update. And again, just like the example I told you, but if you combine the knowledge that we're giving you here with knowing their schedule or when pops are coming in, if you can get a target employee to say when their next shipment's coming in, putting 2 and 2 together, even if BrickSeek is incorrect, you'll know more than likely that store is going to get it. The expert hunting tips, the things that people may not know about, the things that I've learned when I've talked to employees and getting to know them. These 2 expert hunting tips are out there. They'll be on our website at popcollectorsalliance.com. Check that out. This episode's show notes. There'll be some interesting graphics in there for the layout of the Target stores and some fancy schmancies out there. But check out, we got 2 expert hunting tips this week. But these are 2 of the big secrets that I get when I go hunting for a specific pop that I really, really want. And again, when you're in the no flip zone, you need these tips. And they don't cost you anything. All you got to do is go to our website and check them out. But again, always take a chance. Always take a chance. If you combine everything and you know that it's going to be there and you feel it deep down in your soul, just go. Take that chance. Sometimes it's well worth it. Now, Target, one last thing that we want to talk about on our Finder series is, where are the deals? Where can I find the deals? And the good news for you right off the bat, Target is a great place to find these deals because they often mark their pops down too soon. And I've seen a number of pictures on Facebook groups or the message boards where people have got like a Crota and it was marked down to $4.98 because they're just going back there and lambasting these pops with stickers, and you can find a deal sometimes. And a lot of times they keep those clearance pops in the pop section. So there's not a lot of hunting that you often have to do. But also, since some of these are considered toys, there is a clearance section in the toy section. It's on one of the end caps, just like some of the other pops that are that may be located in your Target. But there's a clearance section in toys that they sit on an end cap. And I've found a couple of pops there, like the Golden Girls. They were marked down to like $2.98 in the clearance section of toys. So always check the toy section for their clearance. And if you're unsure where the toys clearance is, always ask an employee. But most of the time, it's on one of those end caps at the back of one of the toys aisles. The electronics section, sometimes pops are labeled with clearance stickers, like I said, in their original position. So they just put them on the Funko shelf. Sometimes I've seen employees put them on the top of that Funko section, but always check there, move behind some of those displays that they have at the bottom of the Funko section. You might see a deal there. Again, there is an electronics clearance section. It's in one of the aisles. It varies from store to store. But ask the electronics employee where their electronics clearance section is, because a lot of times you can find some Funko Pop there. The most of the time, the ones that I find in the electronics clearance section tend to be the video game related pop. Yeah, I found some Uncharted pops back there. Some of the more less desirable, but hey, if you're a video game fan of some of the less desirable video games, Mass Effect, I don't think that's a less desirable video game, but I've seen some Mass Effect pops back there. You can find them in that clearance section from time to time.
I was like, you also want to check at the very last aisle of toys. A lot of times the smaller Targets, they will designate that as just a general toy. clearance section, and sometimes you can find actually some decent value pop back there.
Yeah, and they mark them down pretty good too, right? I mean, I've seen them as low as
Target is very quick to mark items down because they want to have a really high turnover on product, and if they're not moving, they try to get them out there as quick as they can.
Yeah, and they don't have a big backroom stock at Target, so that's to our advantage. Also, red card holders. Now, you don't have to apply for a Target credit card to be a red card holder. They have red cards that link directly to your bank account. And the good news for you is that they give a 5% discount every day to red card holders. And they even release exclusive pops to red card holders. I guess they know that people love pop, so they're like, "Oh, let's offer these." I think it was a red stormtrooper. Again, you get a 5% discount on pops. It may not be the best, but also when they do special events like Black Friday sales or President's Day sale, whatever sale that they'll do during the year, you'll get that 5%. And a lot of times they'll offer you a greater percentage for red card holders. You could get 10, 15, 20% off of specific items that go that extra mile and getting you to save money. So we've talked about so many things in the Finder series. We want to get your feedback, what you liked and disliked about the Finder series. The best way to get in touch with us, info@popcollectorsalliance.com. That's a direct email to us, and we get your feedback. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like about the Finder series, things that you want to hear more of, things that were valuable to you. Maybe if we helped you out, we want to hear these stories. But again, one last thing before we go and exit the Finder series is know your store hours everywhere. Targets have different store hours. I've seen stores that open at 9, stores that open at 8, stores that open at 7. They close at 11, close at 12, close at 10, close at 9. So just make sure you know your Target store hours before you go out there so you can start yourself out with a successful early morning hunt. Before we wrap everything up this week, I just wanted to give a shout out to another podcast on the Astro Panda Productions Network. It's the Still Human Podcast, everyone's favorite sci-fi related drama. Shout out to the Still Human Podcast. You can find them at blogtalkradio.com/astropanda or astropandaproductions.com to check out their podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe today.
The Still Human Podcast, a sci-fi space radio drama following the establishment of humanity's first colony amongst the stars. Join the crew of the Don de Do, the eccentric billionaire leading them, and the corporation employing them, as they explore the unknowns of faraway planet G159c, grappling with its majestic wilderness, building a new home beneath new stars. The Still Human Podcast, available now.
Now, the collector story of a week is a new segment that we put out last week, and I just scanned the Nightosphere for a good story. And I don't think this is a good story. It's more of a horror story, but still, it should be a story that everyone learns from. So I call it the canned vegetables burglar or scammer. Now, a lot of times people in groups scam people, right? So they're going to say, hey, trade me this pop. They send a pop. People don't verify that person's reputation within that group. And they're like, oh, I'll trade you that, blue chrome Batman for your metallic Spider-Man. No problem. And so you pack it on up, march it on down to the post office with a big smile on your face saying, that guy just got a bad deal. And then you never get your package back.
And if you do get your package, it's just a box full of cottage cheese.
Yeah, or in this case, canned vegetables. So what happened in one of the groups I'm a member of, but it's been spread across Facebook, and it was a couple weeks ago. But somebody sent some very valuable pops. Now, I'm not saying somebody. This is like 15 different people. This guy sent out different addresses and got people to trade him for pops. He had pictures of his pop, and he got people to send things to different addresses, and he sent them all back canned vegetables, green beans, corn. And it was just not pleasant. And some of the people got on there and said, well, I was worried when it said like 7 pounds for my shipment. I received it, and that's what it is. So
yeah, you would have think that the weight would just like totally like it would be a red flag, and they would have called the post office to intercept it.
So I think a lot of people, they put this guy's name out there, but here's the risk, right? No matter what guy, gal, person out there that goes on Facebook, they can create a profile and not be verified or anything. These are some of the warning signs you need to look out. And maybe we'll do a podcast on some of the warning signs if you're doing trades on Facebook or trades that in general with people over social media. And some of the warning signs are they started, started their account within the past month or so, that they just joined the group, that they tout all these amazing pops that they have, and then no one in your group can verify them. Now, most groups have a pinned post that says, hey, this is your reputation. And once you do a successful trade with somebody, you go on there and you comment, and you say +1 for this person. They did an excellent job. And you build your reputation that way. Now, in these cases, this person did not have a reputation. So what I do, if someone wants to trade with me that doesn't have a reputation, they're new to the group, but they have a pretty lengthy history on Facebook, is that I'm a member of most groups. So I'll go to other groups and say, hey, have you done a trade with this person? Because you can generally see and search the groups that you're members of it if this person is a member of the group. So there's ways to cross-validate a person, or I'll ask an admin of that group to say, hey, do you know this guy? Can you vouch for them? And if they do, and I've done one trade where someone has, and it went successful, right? So these are the things you need to look out for on Facebook, some of the red flags that are just a glaring error and ways to circumnavigate getting screwed. But this guy screwed quite a few people, gave them all different addresses, but he's been since banned. But again, that person can create another profile, join another group, and start from scratch again.
Yeah, my personal rule is, the first one is I don't deal with anybody that doesn't have a photo of themselves as their profile picture. That's generally like a given that it's a fake account or a secondary account. The other thing is, and you're saying, the length of account. Usually people everybody has a Facebook account. That's just the day and age we live in. So if you have an account that's younger than a year old, I'm not going to do a trade with you. Those are the two easiest things to spot, because that information is always available. I know, because a lot of, you can hide stuff on your profile, but there's just you can generally look at somebody's profile and you can see how active they are, and you can see if they actually have real content on there or if it's just garbage. And if you can't show your face on your Facebook page, then that's kind of something that's going to set me off and make me a little weary. And most of the time I will interact with a person in Messenger for a little while before I actually do the trade, to see, you can kind of gauge somebody. Not always, some people are good at lying, but it's good to have some conversations with a person, before you dedicate to sending them a $400 pop in the mail.
Exactly. And limit that first trade, if you can, to $35 or something.
Yeah, I need some super, I'll trade you this super common chase for something else just to test the water.
Exactly. And hopefully that can help you guys out there from getting scammed. This is our collector story of the week. And if you have any collectors horror stories, great stories, if you've just met somebody good in the community and you want to give them a shout out, hit us up at info@popcollectorsalliance.com. We can give shout outs to people for good stories. We can share your horror story, whatever you want. Just give us permission there and tell us your story. Again, info@popcollectorsalliance.com. And then the last thing I want to hit this week, because it is Black Friday, there's a lot of things going on that you may or may not be aware of. Just touch on some of the items here before we say goodbye this week. Barnes & Noble has a sparkly Sailor Chibi Moon. We put a lot of these links on our Facebook page. Some of them may not be available, but again, they come in and out time and time. We put a placeholder for the 8-bit Batgirl in purple. That's a Barnes & Noble exclusive as well. And then if you haven't stopped by GameStop already and you love the 8-bit pops, and especially these two, which I think are really good 8-bit pops, there's the Freddy and Jason NES 8-bit pops that are available for pre-order at GameStop. I believe Jason is an exclusive. I can't confirm whether or not Freddy is, but I think you should get the pair. If you're going to get one, get the other.
You got to.
Yeah. And then the GameStop Black Friday mystery boxes, I'm going to buy some more so we can do another event where we open them. I got a bunch of them, and then maybe I'll put some up on our Cost Plus Shipping first live event and let you guys see them. But I didn't get the Chase Joker, and that's the one I really, really, really want. But those are available now at GameStops and ThinkGeeks. I think you can still get them online. Follow that link on the Pop Collectors Alliance Facebook page. The Stan Lee with futuristic glasses, he came up and went down, but he's been going in and out. So they've been getting restocked. And I did have Toys R Us on there, but I don't think there's the Mickey and Minnie 2-pack that's there. It It was up online, and I know that there's another Sailor Moon pop that's coming out, Queen something or another. But if you like Sailor Moon, that should be arriving within a week or so. So keep checking that. Was there anything else that we're missing? Some of the deals. The buy two, get one free at Think Geek for the mystery minis. 3 for $25 on all the pops that are hot at Hot Topic right now. And buy two, get one free at Box Lunch. So there's a whole bunch of deals out there for Black Friday. And hopefully I can push this episode out because a lot of the deals will tend to go through the weekend and be online for Cyber Monday. So check those out. Did you have anything?
Yeah. The other one that we missed were Think Geek has the Xur and Atheon Destiny 2 pops.
Oh yeah, we put a link for that up as well. I don't know if they're still available, but check. They were going in and out. Again, they're for pre-order, so you might be able to get your hands on one of those. And then also that reminded me too, Piper, was Jareth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jareth came up in his ballroom outfit. It's kind of sparkly. It's a Think Geek exclusive. Funny story for me, I ordered a couple of them. Again, hint, hint, cost plus shipping live event coming soon. And I think we'll save it. Next week's episode, we're going to announce when we're going to do the first cost plus shipping live event from the Pop Collectors Alliance headquarters in the battlegrounds, combating flippers one day at a time. We're going to announce that next week when you're going to be able to see that first cost plus shipping live event. Now, this is an event where you can get all the hard to find items that are out there at or below cost plus shipping, because some of them I got a deal on. Some of them I got under hot cash. So, Max with the mask, the Hot Topic exclusive, I'm going to give that to you for $9 plus shipping because I only paid $9 a piece for them.
Surprise shipping is going to be $50.
Yeah, like eBay.
This is some old school eBay stuff going on.
I need to make my profit on shipping. But funny story with the Jareths. Think Geek got 0 of them, really, to put on shelves. The only couple that they got were mine. So lucky for you guys, I'm going to keep one, and the other one's going to go back to the community for that event. And then I'll give away one pop at our cost plus shipping event. I don't know what that pop's going to be. Stay tuned for next week's episode to find that out, and we'll do our Finder Series 2 on Hot Topic. Follow us on social media if you haven't. I've mentioned that a bunch of times, but I really want to get you guys included on the social media because we're going to be doing a lot of things on there. Hey, I could do a fire deal, cost plus shipping, first person that likes this image on Instagram gets cost plus shipping for this pop. So follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Pop Alliance Pod. And then Facebook, our Facebook page is facebook.com/Pop Collectors Alliance. Anything from you, Piper?
Oh yeah, there is one little thing. I had posted earlier this week that if we got to 250 likes on the Facebook page, that I would be giving away a pop from my personal collection, and we have done that. Actually, we have well surpassed that right now. I think we're nearing 300, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
So we're kind of blowing it up. So I will be giving away a pop on Monday. So I will post instructions on how you can possibly take something away from me. I need to clear some space out. So somebody gets something, and it's not going to be some lame Gears of War 3 pop. It's going to actually be something that's decent. So
yeah, taking one of your babies away.
That's it. You're stripping it from me. One of my 300 babies that I have.
Well, hey guys, we really thank you guys for listening. It means a lot to us. We really want to help this community out. And I've been talking to people out there on my hunting trips, and I've seen a real and true excitement about this Pop Collectors Alliance. I've seen some of the listens already on some of our stats, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. And if we can do anything better, or you want to see us do anything else, you know where to hit us up because I've told you 50 times. But thank you guys again. We'll be back next week with an all new episode of the Pop Collectors Alliance. Until then, I'm Rick, and happy hunting, my friends.
Bye.